I'm excited. I love watching my children compete and do their sports, and I'm excited to leave church after we break down and go straight to the field, watch my daughter cheer. I am grateful that Little League football season is coming to the end of the regular season. We still got tournaments, so pray for me. But yeah, we get to run our lives around football. It's fun. It's fun. If you're worshiping with us virtually, we want to welcome you to the Living Water Ministries. We're so glad that you're worshiping with us. I'm Pastor Michael Johnson, and we want you to do us a favor. We believe that this message is going to bless you, and we don't want it to just bless you. We want it to bless everybody who's connected to you. So if you're watching on Facebook, hit that share button for us. If you're watching on YouTube, we need you to like. Make sure you subscribe. You don't want to miss any of this. Copy that link and send it to somebody. Send it to somebody. Proverbs 3 and 5. I need you to locate Proverbs 3 and 5. Proverbs 3 and 5. We'll start there with a familiar passage. I got to pace myself while I preach. I want to do some hollering today, but Shonda's not here, so I think I'm going to carry the altar call song myself. Y'all know I'm lying. I'm joking. I would not do that to y'all. Wouldn't do that to anybody. I would not. I'd pass the mic to Carlos or Nikki. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. If I get a mic to Nikki, I'll just stand there and tell her the words, and we good. If you all don't know this, Nikki Ruffin can sing. She really can. Nikki can harmonize. She just doesn't know any lyrics whatsoever. Can I preach before I preach? The reason why Nikki doesn't get up here, even though she has the talent, is because she doesn't have a skill. And I promise you'll do yourself a big favor. Why y'all get quiet? I ain't even start preaching yet. I promise you'll do yourself a big favor if you recognize that just because you got a little bit does not mean you got enough. And it's okay. Y'all hear me about to sing? I know all the words to the songs. But whatever key they play in, I'm going to hit it every now and then on accident. So I stay right here in my lane. I will Kirk Franklin a song quickly. No, I don't have his legs. I'm not jumping off of nothing no more. Proverbs 3 and 5, let me go. It says, I'm in the New Living Translation, but whatever translation you have is just fine. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not, I believe that's going to say, do not depend on your own understanding. For some reason, my notes added a word there, and I got real confused. Do not depend on your own, see? Can't depend on your own understanding. You better know what it says. Say, wait a minute, that's confusing. When you hear something that's confusing, you need to stop. Pause, caution, do not proceed. Locate one more passage for me, 2 Kings chapter 4. 2 Kings chapter 4. Proverbs 3 and 5 is probably going to be a central scripture for us throughout the month. I'll be referencing it, so I won't preach it too hard today, but I definitely want it to be in your spirit. 2 Kings chapter 4, starting with verse 1. Are y'all ready? I got 2. That's enough. It says, one day the widow of a member of the group of prophets came to Elisha and cried out, my husband who served you is dead, and you know how he feared the Lord. But now a creditor has come, threatening to take my 2 sons as slaves. What can I do to help you? Elisha asked. Tell me, what do you have in the house? Nothing at all except, somebody shout, except a flask of olive oil, she replied. And Elisha said, borrow as many empty jars as you can from your friends and neighbors. Then go into your house with your sons and shut the door behind you. Pour olive oil from your flask into the jars, setting each one aside when it is filled. So she did as she was told. Her sons kept bringing jars to her, and she filled one after another. Soon every container was full to the brim. Bring me another jar, she said to one of her sons. There aren't any more, he told her. And then the olive oil stopped flowing. When she told the man of God what had happened, he said to her, now sell the olive oil and pay your debts. and you and your sons can live on what is left over. Help me shout out the title of this message. Shout, God's got it. God's got it. Jesus, we are so glad that you're here. We're here. Let's keep doing this in your name and for your glory. In your name we pray. Amen. God's got it. Brothers and sisters, this weekend our city has been very interesting. We have had a lot of people going back and forth. There's been a lot of uproar because someone from social media fame named Darius Cooks decided to come to our city and make some food for some people and also try some locally owned, black-owned restaurants. I didn't read any of his content. I didn't watch any of his content. I heard about some of it, but I saw a lot of anger towards what he was saying. And the question that I had as I watched people get mad at him, and the question I had as I watched in some posts my wife showed me with people going back and forth, I could not understand for the life of me why it mattered. We're talking about somebody that I learned years ago from making a funny video about Jesus paying it all. But now this man is coming here and criticizing our food. And I didn't have a problem with that. I had confusion because I didn't understand why his opinion mattered. Can I go deeper? Thank you. I appreciate your support. The reason I was confused is because I kind of watched it and I looked at him and thought, but who are you? It is not that I'm diminishing what he's accomplished. What I'm saying is what qualifies you to be an expert. Because what experts get is trust. And I could not understand why anybody would trust his opinion because I don't understand how he's qualified to get my trust. You're going to get me in a minute? Because he's done some things, but he hasn't done enough for me to trust his opinion. So my trust can't be in him because he hasn't done enough for me to trust him. You being critical of something I may enjoy is not going to make me second guess what I like because you have not proven that your opinion matters to me. Now, maybe you have for somebody else, but in my experiences, and again, I don't knock anybody, I don't judge anybody. Do you care about what you care about? I was just lost because I don't know what makes him an expert. Now, maybe I'm ignorant and I don't know his resume. But can I tell y'all a secret? I wasn't about to look it up. Because if I'm going to trust you, I need you to have proven that you're worthy of my trust. And I believe that is why the writer in Proverbs 3:5 tells us to trust in the Lord with all of our hearts, because who else has earned my trust? Can I take it a step further? There are a lot of people that I don't trust because they haven't done enough for me to trust them. Oh, I probably should have told y'all. Y'all gonna feel good about this one. We good. I'm preaching about them today. I'm barely talking about you. I'm preaching about God and like a little bit about you. Maybe medium about you. We'll see. But there are some people I don't trust because they have proven that they are not trustworthy. Can I go a step further and not preach about you, but preach about me? Sometimes I don't trust me. I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about me. I don't trust me because I have proven that I'm not trustworthy sometimes. If you've only heard the things that I've said to myself in the past. I can't always trust my opinion of myself because I've been mean to me. I've been hurtful of myself. I have said things about me and thought things about me that I'd be ready to fight somebody else for saying. But when it came to myself, I've been my harshest critic. So I don't even trust me. I've also, again, I'm not preaching about you, I'm preaching about me. I'll just look at Pastor Mike and point and laugh at me. I've made some choices that I had to look back and go, what? Really? It was that important? It wasn't. You really had to go off on them? I did, but you didn't. So if I don't trust a lot of people, and I sometimes don't trust myself, then doesn't it make sense to trust the one who has proven himself over and over and over and over and over and over. And here's this part that really sticks out to me in the text. It says, with all your heart. I've told you so many times before that the Bible does not tell you how to do things that are easy. It tells you how to do the things that are difficult. Trusting God is easy. I'm trusting God that this stage won't break. I am not about to trust his healing power if I jump off of it. Those days have ended. I know he'll do it. I don't want him to have to. You just miss your next shout moment. I know God will do it. I just don't want him to have to. But if I have to trust him with all of my heart, then there must mean that there are some parts of my heart where it's harder to trust him. And I believe that this widow really shows us how to trust God with all of your heart. Y'all know I got a thing for women in the Bible. Their faith is usually unparalleled. And here is a woman who was about to receive this crazy miracle. But before I can preach her life, I got to tell you about Elisha's for just a moment, because this woman is in this situation where she's in dire, desperate need of a miracle. And so she goes to Elisha. Elisha gives her an instruction. He gives her another instruction, and he gives her a blessing. Elisha is a problem solver. Elisha is a fixer. Anybody feel like a fixer? Half of y'all, some of y'all lying. You feel like you don't, okay, let me rephrase that. Anybody feel like you fix other people's problems? There it is, got it. I love how introspective our church is. Like, fix, have you seen my life? I'm coming up to the altar again. I don't even care what you're praying about. Trust me, I will meet you there. It don't even matter what you're talking about. We got some stuff to pray for. However, but other people can come to you for advice, right? And other people can count on you and be dependable and all that stuff. And so you're a fixer. Elisha is a fixer. I told you about Naaman coming to him a couple months ago when he had leprosy. And Elisha stood up with confidence and said, I got this. Elisha is a fixer. And so he fixes these things for this woman because he's anointed to do so. But if you just start in chapter 4, you won't understand how Elisha got here. I came to preach a life for a minute because you are gifted. You are a fixer. You are flowing. You are a blessing, but you didn't get there overnight. In order for Elisha to be used like this, Elisha had to walk away from his family and follow a man of God. Elisha had to leave everything he knew and go after this man of God. Elisha had to walk away from making money to go follow him. Elisha had to leave it all right away to follow Elijah. And then God had the audacity to take Elijah away from him. We always preach about Elijah going in the chariot of fire, but my favorite part of that text is the real part of it, which is after he left, and Elisha is standing there all by himself. And he has to take up Elijah's cloak because he's about to step into Elijah's shoes. And it'd be so easy for me to shout about that, but can you imagine the abandonment you have to feel to know that your mentor has been begging God to take him away from you? Yeah, I know that Elijah asked to be taken out of the world, but if we're going to be honest, when people leave us, it doesn't feel like you left the world, it feels like you left me. Elisha has to deal with grieving somebody who didn't die. Woo. Yeah, one of the hardest things you're going to have to do is grieve people that didn't die. Let me help you out. Elijah is gone, but your version of that is when you have to disconnect from somebody and they're still walking around. Yeah, grieving somebody who's dead is simpler because there's a finality about it. At the end of the day, there's a reality that I can't do it. It's a whole different thing when I want to, but one of us sets so many boundaries that we can't come back together. Elisha is grieving. And if you fast forward some chapters, let me give that to you again because I think you missed it. If you fast forward some chapters, you get to a place where Elisha is not grieving Elijah. Elisha is fixing it for the woman. You're going to get it in a minute, which means that he went from being sad about it to saying, I know who I am and I'm working it. Can I preach to somebody and tell you, you just got to get to a few more chapters from here. I know you're struggling right now, but if you could just see yourself in chapter 4, okay, y'all tripping, you're tripping because you forgot what chapter you're in now. Do you remember you 3 chapters ago? Did you forget that I now call you up to pray for somebody at the altar call? Y'all missing all y'all shout points, because you used to be the one that was dependent on prayer every time you turn around, but now you're the fixer and people come to you and ask for prayer. Your life has changed. You ought to be excited because you are no longer in that old chapter where you didn't know what to do and you ain't know who to call and you ain't know what you were going to do and you were going to break it any minute. You know how solid you are now. Yeah, somebody ought to take 2 quick seconds and thank God for being solid now. Ooh. He used to be a little shaky. But now every time I turn around, I can depend on you. Now your friends look at you different. Your family looks at you differently. Why? Because you've now become dependable. He's anointed to fix it. He was anointed to see things that other people couldn't see. Elisha is so dope because he gets this woman a miracle with stuff she already got and has access to. He was just able to see what she had in a different light. You better keep somebody around you who knows how to see what you have in a way that you don't. That's why those people can speak life into you, because when they see you, the thing that you discredit and discard is the most precious thing in the world to them. That's why somebody just comes up to you and like, I feel better every time I see you. Your smile is simple to you, but what it does for me, I don't even know how to put into words. There's a reason why I get excited every Sunday morning when I wake up. It's because you ain't got to open your mouth and say a word to me. I get excited just by being in your presence. All right, we're going to get through this. Some of you I get so excited about because I knew what it took for you to get here. Trying to stay in my notes. I'm trying not to turn this into a testimony service, but I understand how much your smile cost you. So when I see you surrender it, I'm like, Jesus Christ. If they only knew the price you had to pay to come in looking like that. If they only knew the price you had to pay to be able to wake up and get out of bed. Can we preach the realness for a minute? Some of you can't shout because I'm preaching you now, but listen to the shouts in this room. You're going to sound like them in a little bit. Just keep pushing, because sometimes getting out of bed is the hardest thing in the world. You can love Jesus and wish you didn't wake up at the exact same time. You can love Jesus, want to live, and want to do absolutely nothing on your to-do list that day. But yet, you pushed. Anybody grateful that it's no longer the push that it used to be? Oh, I hope y'all didn't think we was going to be quiet today. We working this message together. You're going to have to help me work this together. It's different. And so now we get to this woman. She comes to Elisha, and the Bible lets us know she's a widow. So the first thing you got to know about her off the bat, we don't even know her name. We just know she had to grieve. What precedes her is not her identity, but her experience. Yeah, sometimes you feel like people don't even know you. They just know what you went through. They don't even know anything about you, but they know how hard it was for you. The widow, she's called. The Bible describes her by what she went through and talks about the faith that she now has. She's a widow, and yet she comes to this man that she knows has power, and she says, I need some help. Yeah, it's easy to just sit in a corner and sit in isolation when you feel broken, but this woman has enough faith to say, I'm going to connect with somebody who has the faith that I don't. Can I just tell you that even when you don't have enough faith, just find somebody who does. When you feel like I ain't got it, find somebody who does. When you feel like I can't go another step, find somebody who can walk it with you. There was a man described in the Gospels who could not walk, but he had 4 friends that were willing to put him on their backs and carry him onto a roof and drop him in front of Jesus. What you can't do, I will do for you. I'm glad I'm in a church full of people who will carry me when I need to be carried. Ooh. A couple weeks ago, I was thinking about when my dad passed, and I just thought about how much my church was there for me. And I'm like, man, y'all made it easy to pastor while hurting, because I knew I could be weak if I needed to. This woman comes to him and she says, I ain't got it. I'm in a whole lot of debt, and they're about to take my sons. Hear this before we shout out of here, because it's coming. She lost her husband. Now remember, she is a woman living in an extremely male-dominated society where women were not expected to work outside the homes or have their own businesses. So it wasn't like she could just wake up and be like, all right, I'm about to go hustle this money up one way or another. We about to make it shake. It wasn't that simple. She lived at a time when it didn't come that easily. So what had to happen is she needed somebody to help her make some money, because she is not only broke, she's in debt. See, broke is one thing. Broke, you can live with. Broke, you find a way. Broke, you like, hey, we going to go to Wendy's, we going to make it work. McDonald's got a bundle. I know it's unhealthy, but I'm going to make something shake. When you broke, you can figure it out. But when you owe so much money in a society where they will take your kids, see, we don't understand this type of debt. I'm about to preach your life. You ready? We understand this type of debt. An email from the U.S. Department of Education. Delete. Delete. No. If your name ain't Kroger, you ain't getting this money. Delete. What you talking about? Biden said it's taken care of, so y'all take that up with him. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That's between y'all. That's a D.C. problem. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That's on you. See, that's broke. We can live with that. That may not even be broke. That may be I'm being selective with my money. And somebody said, I got it for what I want it for. I got it for this Bengals game. I got it to go see Usher. I don't got it, right? That's a different type of debt. She lives in a debt where, like, oh, you owe us money? Cool. Well, we going to get it back in blood with your sons, and they're going to work for us for 7 years apiece. So that means after losing her husband, she's on the verge of losing the last two things she has left. Anybody ever been in a spot where you feel like one more loss is going to take everything? I'm down to my last little bit. I'm down to my last little bit of patience. Don't even talk to me today. I'm down to my last little bit of joy. Don't hit my line today. I'm down to my last bit of tolerance. And if you look at me the wrong way, it's going to be a whole problem, because I ain't fought nobody in 6 years, and I've been waiting. I love Jesus, and I'm ready to ask for forgiveness. I'm telling you, don't talk. If you ain't never been at the spot where you ready to ask for forgiveness, you ain't lived long enough. But some of us know what it's like. It's like, no, God, I know it's a sin. I ain't got no questions about that. We ain't got to take it up. Pastor can't convict me. My accountability circle can't hold me accountable to nothing. I promise you, I'm good. At this point, going to jail don't even sound that bad right now. It sounds like it's worth it. Let me see. I ain't tried it before. But at this point, I'm not even certain I'm going down. I can make it look like self-defense. I've been here before. I'm here. This woman is on the verge of losing the last little bit she has left. But if you're taking notes, catch this. She remembered the resume. She went to Elisha and she said, my husband served you, and you know how he feared the Lord. What she's saying is, now, wait a minute, I need something, but I know I got some credit, so I'm here to collect. You just missed the power shift. They're trying to collect from me, but I'm about to go collect from God. You trying to repossess from me, let me repossess from God. Now, you know how we have served you. This is your shout moment. God, you know how we showed up when nobody else did. Father, you know, we're going to be real in here. Father, you know, I don't even like teaching kids, but I did it because my church needed it. You know, I don't even like being on stage, but I did it because they needed it. I'm not even good at that, but I did it because I needed it. Y'all, I mimed before. I sang on the praise team before. We got through it. I have done it. You know how God, I need you. She said, he served you. And peep it, she didn't even reference her resume. She referenced the resume of somebody she was connected to. Yeah, this is when you get real excited about your connections, because there's some stuff that I know I can get because of who I'm connected to. She said, you know how he served you and how he feared the Lord. The Hebrew word there for fear also means to revere. One way we revere or we show reverence is through our worship. So I can ask God for stuff because I'm a worshiper. There's some things I expect him to do in my life because I lift my hands. Oh, you want me to put some Bible on it? Put some more Bible on it? I'm happy to. Jesus told the woman, now is the time when the Father is looking for those that will worship him in spirit and in truth. If God is looking for you, you think he's about to show up empty-handed? It's really not his style. It's really not how he gets down. God, I'm so glad he's in the room because Mike reminds me of God in this way. Mike is the type of person where if this ain't for all of y'all, so don't be expecting him to pick up everything. I'm special. I'm one of the people. He does. It's his thing. He does it. When you go with him, if you don't ask for that check first, you're not going to see it. Because Mike is going to make sure it's taken care of. Now y'all want to go out to eat with Mike and Davia, don't you? I know. But what that means is Mike shows up ready to bless. Now, if he, as just a mere dude, can figure out that concept, you think the Savior who went to Calvary before you took your first breath is really about to show up empty-handed? You think the one that said, no, you love me because I first loved you, you think he's really going to show up empty-handed? You think he's going to look for you as a worshiper and not bless you? There are some things that you got because you worshiped. There's some things that you had access to because you worshiped. So she said, No, it's time for us to collect. Because I am not about to serve you this hard and we end up in this situation and have nothing. I told you she almost lost it, but she had enough sense to go get something else. I don't care if you are this close to the edge, you better take a step back and start praying. Because this woman said, I know God hears you. You ever been in that spot where you're like, God, I don't even want to talk to you, but I know you hear her. So you call like, I need you to pray for me because I can't pray for myself another day. I'm so sick and tired of praying for myself. I don't know what to do. I'm so frustrated praying for myself. I don't know what to do. I have prayed the same prayers over and over and over, and I'm looking at the same stuff over and over and over. So I don't know why it's different with you, but it's going to have to be different with you. But I told you, Elisha is anointed to see what she can't. So then Elisha said, what's in your house? I told you I don't have it, and now you ask me what I have. But again, the people in the Bible, they are better than your pastor. Because if I tell you they about to come for my kids and you ask me what I have in my house, I'm going to tell you not enough. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked you. So now we have taken more time. If you ain't the one, just say that. If you don't have a word for me, just say that. Now you're asking stupid questions, and at this point, you're insulting my intelligence. So now you're about to go on the hit list. I asked you for prayer. But if you won't lift yours, you can get these. I need you to ask more constructive questions when I am in need. That's why I ain't in the Bible. That's why. So I'm not in the, so God lets my experience be hidden from y'all. It's not used to bless your life. It's because we're a little different over here. Yeah, I thank God he ain't used me because story would have went a little differently. And she said, I have nothing except a flask of olive oil. All the educators in the room should understand the dichotomy in that sentence. You should understand the paradox that is revealed in that sentence. Anybody, y'all know I love the English language. I want to fight it every day, but I love it. There's no reason knife should have a K in it, but that's a different message for a different day. We can go on and on, trust me. It's a whole message. I'm just waiting for the Holy Spirit to release it because ain't no revelation in it. It's really just me venting about how stupid this is, but I digress. She said, I have nothing except a little flask of oil. And I know that when we're talking amongst ourselves as a colloquialism, it's fine, but if we look at strict grammar, it makes no sense because nothing is nothing. You cannot have nothing except, because then you have something. Can I help you understand that you've been talking to yourself the wrong way for years? Because you keep saying nothing, 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 but you have something. You've just been undervaluing what's there. If you're taking notes, catch this. Stop overlooking what you have. Stop overlooking what you have. I feel like preaching now. Y'all pray for me. I'm getting closer to my end. I'm weak because she started clapping and realized it felt weird to say I'm clapping about the end. I know you with me. You got me. I know you with me. She said, I don't have anything. I got nothing except a flask of olive oil. See, there are things that we keep writing off as nothing, and God's like, I would use it if you would look at it. I can take that little bit that you think you have and use it if you would let me. Because there are things that you believe are just natural for you. They come easily so you don't think about it. You do it easily so you don't think about it. It hasn't given you the results that you want yet so you don't think about it. You got people in your life. Can I preach as a pastor? You got people in your life that are amazing, but if you undervalue them, you will never get it from them. When we get to announcements, y'all gonna see some exciting stuff. You're gonna hear me announce it, but you need to know that I came up with about 7% of it. That's it. The Make It Happen team did the rest. Because I had to learn that there are people around me that are amazing, and if you would utilize them, you'd be a whole lot better. There are some gifts that you have, but you don't know how they'll bless people, so you don't think about it. But you don't understand that we just haven't gotten the opportunity yet. You don't even know that you being able to do what you do is amazing. You being able to draw will take you further than you think. The attitude that you have. Thank you, Holy Ghost. There are some people in this room, you have been discounting your ability to keep a good attitude. And God said, I'm about to use that in a way you've never expected. Because I can count on you to deal with stuff but not be rude. I can count on you to deal with stuff but not be a jerk. I can count on you to have an issue but still show up for people. And you've been discrediting it, and God said, I'm about to use it to take you to another level. I don't know who that's for, but I hope you catch it. God's about to use it to take you to another level because of your ability to be stable. Your ability to be stable is about to bless you. He said you're overlooking it. Now, and he tells her what to do with the olive oil. And he tells her to borrow every jar you can from your neighbor and pour the oil. So now this olive oil that was overlooked now gets to be used. And it's way more than she thinks it is. Before I get to the shout, my last shout part, can I just preach your life for a minute? Because some of you sitting in here know what it's like to be the olive oil that's left that nobody wants. You know what it's like to have all this value, but yet it keeps being overlooked. You know you are solid, but you don't get the opportunities. You know that you would be a big help for somebody, but they just won't see it. Y'all know I'm going to be me. You know what you bring to the table in a marriage, but nobody seems to want to value what you bring to the table. You know that you would be amazing, an amazing wife, an amazing husband, and yet you cannot seem to find the person that is worthy of you wearing their ring. You're trying to figure out, why won't somebody value me? I'm going into work on a regular basis, and nobody is really valuing me. I know my product is amazing. Can't nobody do it like I can do it the way that I do it, but yet people seem to not be supporting the way that I do it. Can you imagine? Never mind, you don't have to. Feeling the frustration of knowing I'm too dope for this, the frustration of knowing I am blessed, I am gifted, I will turn this whole department around if you let me. If you would bring me in as a consultant, I would flip everything you're doing. You'd be making more money in 3 months if you just gave me a shot. If you actually return my calls to hang out, you'll see that I don't deal with mess or drama. I pay my own way. I don't need you to pay for anything. I just need somebody to have fun with me when I go somewhere. But yet, you want to hang out with everybody who brings you nothing. I love preaching to Davids. David was an unknown worshiper until his opportunity came. When King Saul needed somebody to play out an evil spirit, they said, go get David. He's a skillful musician. David was a skillful musician that nobody knew about. Some of us are skilled and nobody knew about it. But can I tell you that the olive oil isn't fumbled for long? The olive oil isn't slept on for too long? Because what begins to happen is she pours it and she realizes there's a whole lot more to this than I thought. here's my favorite shout point of the whole message. This is going to sound weird, but stay with your pastor. I'm so glad they didn't recognize you. I'm so glad they didn't value you. Everybody with church hurt, listen to me. I'm glad because it brought you here. And trust me, I know how to pour you. I'm so glad. Pastor, it hurt. I know, but Jesus is a healer, right? So let's move on and let's get you back to work because I'm happy I get to be connected to you. Can I go a step further? I'm married to the most amazing woman on this planet. I am so glad that when she was in high school, people weren't checking for chocolate girls. I'm so glad. If you know our story, I almost fumbled. It could have been me. But God said no. I'm so glad that her ex thought she wasn't enough. I'm grateful for it. Go to therapy, work out, whatever you got to work out. But I'm going to tell you from me and my point of view, I'm glad it didn't work out for you. You ought to thank God that somebody fumbled your spouse. You ain't. Y'all know it's more married people in this room than that, but it's all good. You're going to shout when you get somewhere. Okay. You're going to. Nah, it's over. Y'all boring. Single people. Can you shout that the ex fumbled you? No, not that one. I'm talking about the one you laugh at whenever you see. That one. See? I be trying to preach to y'all married people, but y'all just want to look at me. The single people talk back to me, so I'm going to preach to them. No. You missed your moment. We're getting ready to go. There are some friends that I have that I'm so glad their friends were terrible before. So glad. Because now you got more time for me. Thank you. Now we can talk on the phone because we ain't worry about them other people. Now we can laugh. We can go see a movie. We can go to dinner. Don't worry about them. I don't need you to pay for me. I got myself. Let's go. I'm so glad. You ought to wake up tomorrow and be like, I'm so glad they know how to handle me. You ready for this? Because if they knew your value, they would have abused you. Healthy people abuse things when they see the value in them. You should be glad that you were overlooked because if you were not overlooked, some people would have overworked you. If you were not overlooked by certain people, your life would have been messed up. Some of y'all had to deal with some stuff because somebody did see how great you were and decided to try to control you. Some people did see how great you were. I'm going to deal with your church hurt. Some churches did see how amazing you were, and they ran you into the ground, and you felt like they didn't care about you. All they cared about is what you can do. But now you got here, and we got a worship leader who's not in the building right now because her son is playing football. She said, if I can still go. I said, bye. We will stomp and clap and sing a congregational hymn if we need to. You go be a mom. Because when people see how good you are, but they don't love you, all they want to do is take it from you. They don't care anything about what you are or who you are. They only care about what you can do. So, yeah, sometimes you're the olive oil that you wish would have been able to hide. But now you get to be in this place where you're like, God, if you ain't about to use me for a miracle, I'm chilling. If I can't be that olive oil, just let me chill. I need an Elisha. So every jar comes and fill it up. She borrows this jar, fills it up. Did you not hear where he told her you got to go borrow something from your neighbors? Which means that little pride you got, we're going to have to kill that because you're going to have to ask for help. Yeah, you got part of it in your house, but part of it is locked up in somebody else. And until you are willing to connect with them, you're not going to get it. If you're going to build all these walls and keep everybody out, you're going to limit your miracle. God likes to do things with people. He likes to connect one person with another person or groups of people. Notice that God could have done all of this without Elisha, but he chose not to. You got to stop waiting for God to just drop it in your lap. It's not how he likes to work. That's why we got trust issues, and it's hard for us to connect with people. That's a demonic, systemic event or attack where he consistently tries to divide you because he knows that a lot of your miracles are attached to your connections. So you don't have to be connected to that person, but you better be connected to somebody. Yeah, just because you let go of people who are terrible for you does not mean that you don't run and embrace the people who are great for you. Because evidently she had nice enough connections with these people where they're giving her jars. Notice that he told her to sell it, which means you ain't getting your jar back. It's gone. Which means that the people around her had enough to give her. So she sells it, and he said, and then you and your son live off the rest. Y'all can get ready. I'm almost done for real here. He said, all that you got, sell it, pay your debt that was so big that they were about to take your sons, pay your debt, and then live off of what's left. So what started as nothing except became the thing that got her free and fed her and both her sons. Because when God got involved, it was so much bigger than she thought it was. Because she didn't have to have it, God's got it. She didn't have to figure it out, God's got it. She didn't have to try to stretch it, God's got it. He gave her instructions. All I need is your obedience. All I need is your time. All I need is for you to have enough faith to say, God, this makes no sense, but I'm going to try it. And God sent me here with this last word. This is the last thing I got for you. God said to tell you that don't let the pain make you think that he's done. You can stand to your feet all over this place. Don't let the pain make you think he's done. Whoosh. Don't let the pain make you think he's done. I know that it hurts. I know that it's tough. This is a woman who has had to grieve. This is a woman who's dealing with debt. This is a woman who is in the position where she might lose her sons and never see them again. It's easy for her to feel worthless. It's easy for her to feel like God's not here. It's easy for her to feel like God's not involved, but God still has something for her. Don't let the pain make you think he's done. There's nowhere safe to look in this room without me losing it, so I'm just going to talk to you at home for a moment. I know that the pain has been great. But the reason I got to talk to you and not them is because I know a lot of their stories. And I know that they are living witnesses that after the pain, God still has so much left in store. If you're in this room, actually I want to do this first. If you're watching or you're in this room and you're like, I need Jesus in my life. I need to be saved. I need that. Kelly, you can get a microphone. I need that. I need that salvation in my life. If that's you, I'm going to pray this prayer. And all you have to do is repeat after me. The Bible says if you believe in your heart and you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, then you will be saved. So just say, Jesus, I believe in you. I believe that you are Lord. I believe that you died for me. I believe that you were resurrected for me. Help me. Live with me. In your name I pray. Amen. If you pray that prayer with a sincere heart, then your life and your eternity just changed forever. If you're watching and you're like, I need to be a part of this church. I need to be a member there. Pastor Mike, I need you to be my pastor. If that's you, all you have to do is text your name and the words, I'm coming home, to 833-417-0899. Lastly, if you like to give, it's so simple. The easiest way to give is Cash App TLWM Cincy, CINCY. You can also give with Venmo and PayPal. You need to stay connected to us. We're about to announce some things, so make sure you're connected with us on social media, make sure you're here with us next week because we got some exciting things going on. We love you, and we'll see you next week. God bless you.